Hello, everyone. Welcome to High Vibe Chats with Dee and Lauren. We are so excited to see you here. My name is Diana Bamford. Everybody calls me Dee. I am a Reiki Master, Ascension Channeler, and Psychic based here in beautiful San Diego, California. And this is the beautiful Lauren.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I am Lauren of Laurenkaiwellness. I am the Yoga Nidra priestess. I am also your go-to for yin and Reiki. If you need to slow down and rest, relax, I have a lot of wonderful Yoga Nidras and yin and Reiki classes for you. And I'm based on Oahu, but with this year, you can catch me wherever you are because the virtual realm is where it is at.
Absolutely, absolutely. And first and foremost, I want to say I am very grateful and very appreciative of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful timeline with all of us. And I know, yesterday was Thanksgiving and we all celebrated in our own ways. And for some, it was really challenging because we couldn't really gather with loved ones, but just, knowing that we're there in energy, or some like to call it spirit, it's absolutely, just wonderful to connect. But I'm very grateful of that. All of you are in this timeline right at this moment. And you, Miss Lauren, I'm so grateful for you, your high vibe energy. And for me, you're more than a sister. You're just like this awesome soulmate at a high vibrational sister level. So I'm so, so, so grateful.
Gonna make me here.
And
you, my sister, can't even. I can't I'll get all.
And a lot of the emotion we're feeling now, it's going to be also a lot of what we're going to talk about. So today we're sharing, Lauren and I were talking about, like, what are we going to talk next week? And just so you know, we're very intuitive when it comes to this, because we really want to share something when it comes to what is said that we can share that could be of high benefit for you at this precise moment. And so it's not like we pick up subjects to talk about weeks in advance, or we have like a roster of, like, we're going to talk about this week, and then that way. She's more organized than I am. I'm always like, she's my go-to. Just so everybody knows, little disclosure, everything I write down, she literally write. I'm like, Lauren, help me. Let's talk about this. Can you put it together? And then I just type it. So, we become whole together for high vibe chats. So I'm super excited to talk about this. So Lauren brought up first the speaking your radical truth unapologetically. So it doesn't mean the F off necessarily. We're really transcending through this current reality at such fast pace. And if you may have heard me talk about, or have heard Lauren talk about, or even in high vibe chats, everything is culminating to this really big peak, and the portals are opening. You are feeling all these different emotions. And just as a little disclosure, our high vibe chats videos are highly activated. So when you watch the video, either live or in the replay, you will feel an activation within the body. And it will take, maybe you won't notice it right away, but just know that this encourages your dormant DNA to awaken to new opportunities, to new things, new perspectives. So Lauren, do you want to shoot us up? Shoot us up. Sorry, it's a lot of giggly energy. For me lately, I've been talking to my clients, like, I'll leave it, I'm like, haha, they're telling me something that they're going through super tough, and I'm just like giggly because the energy is so high vibe recently. Anywho, Lauren, the floor is yours. Please guide me.
Well, I feel like this came through because it's something that I've been experiencing in my reality, and then kind of shot it to Dee. Turns out she's been experiencing it within her reality as well. And that was a very, kind of aha moment. Like, okay, well, it's not just the two of us, and maybe other people are feeling this as well. And maybe we can just have a conversation around it and shed some light, or, our perspective. Again, this is always just our perspective. This isn't like the ultimate truth. Is there one ultimate truth? No. So maybe you resonate with it, maybe you don't, and that's cool. So speaking your radical truth, and this is one of my lessons in this life for sure. So this is something that, just like, I am still working on. It's a daily thing. I have up-leveled in so many ways when it comes to this topic and really opening the throat chakra. And like the Lauren who speaks to you today is so much more open and aligned within herself than the Lauren of like, even 5 years ago. Okay. So that being said, I think we're all, well, Dee and I are both feeling, and I'll speak for myself right now. I know I've been feeling much less tolerant lately of certain vibrations and conversations and people or energies, I'll say, than I used to. And that's been very curious to me because I think part of me used to think like, or, all the thoughts go through my head. But I realize that I just don't have the space or the capacity to entertain certain vibrations any longer. This apparently was very true for Dee as well. We're having a much more, nope, it's like a repelling almost, or an irritation, like an itch, and you just gotta go. You gotta leave, you gotta exit the conversation, get away somehow, some way. And so this, okay, letting it all kind of come in right now. So this energy that I think a lot of us are facing right now with really opening. If we haven't done a lot of work with our throat chakra yet, you may be feeling this even more intensified right now. If you've been working on your throat chakra, you may feel like you're circling back around with certain themes or lessons that you thought you already learned. You thought you've been there, done that, but you're seeing it happen again. Why are these people coming into my field? Why are these opportunities coming into my field? Been there, done that, I moved on. And that's kind of the way that this lessons in this life work. Just because you're seeing a certain lesson repeat itself doesn't mean that you haven't done a good job, or it doesn't mean that you failed at all. It's like the next layer of the onion. And you may even find that it just kind of brings your awareness back to that vibration you used to hold and that you used to entertain, and that you're no longer entertaining. So if you look at it as, rather than through the lens of, oh, how annoying, I've been there, I've done this, like, why am I seeing this again? Looking at it with the lens of, okay, my awareness, I'm much more on point this time. I'm very in tune with what's happening. I see it as it's happening, and not like I go home and I'm like, I should have said this or that. Like, you're realizing it maybe a bit faster than before. And it gives you that really awesome opportunity to just like instant quantum leap yourself, instant up level yourself by not having the same response you once used to. Okay. So bringing that into the awareness of, and I hope I'm explaining this in a way that makes sense.
I feel that you are.
Okay, good. Okay.
I feel like you are. And please let us know in the comments if you're like, hold on, can you repeat that? Or wait, what are you talking about?
String through right now.
Yes.
Where did I go? But I think, and if not, yes, please say something, ask questions so that I can circle back around or reiterate or, whatever. So, personal story. I noticed this the other day, literally just walking to the mailbox with my kids and walking back. And I ran into two people that I live near. And found myself in conversations that, and I didn't necessarily pass the lesson in these conversations. I did, but I didn't. And maybe I'm holding some judgment on myself that I need to let go of. Yeah. Okay.
I feel that, like sorry to interrupt there, but the thing is, you did learn the lesson because you were aware of it. It's like, okay, you catch yourself. So always giving yourself a lot of grace. And it's like, okay, I didn't maybe do it exactly like very woke person would have done it in the moment, but there's no such thing. But you caught yourself, you're like, oh, okay.
Right. You're exactly right. I had the awareness in the moment. And even though I'm like, oh, I could have responded differently. I could have, gone this way with this. And maybe I didn't choose to in that moment, but it really did bring my awareness to this whole topic that we're discussing today, and made me realize, like, oh, gotta be on point. Gotta be on point. It's the little interactions. It's the little interactions that you're not even expecting to come across that are like the biggest lessons in life. And I found these two conversations where, and I think maybe some of us aren't. I know I've been guilty many times in my life of just, somebody's talking about something, they have a very strong viewpoint, they have no problem saying how they're feeling. And maybe it's not the most positive, and that's fine. Conversations don't always have to be positive, but maybe it's something that doesn't align with what my truth is. And rather than being like, oh, that's an interesting perspective, here's mine, or saying like, oh, I don't, whatever, just speaking my truth from that place is kind of, you find yourself, I find myself sometimes in this, and I'm not fully like, oh yeah, totally, 100%. I'm not fully agreeing with them, but I just find myself in this kind of, and I found myself in that space with the first interaction where I'm just like, oh, And then it's funny because my son, my little light worker, ended up completely getting me out of that conversation by talking about his owies. And then it got into a whole other thing. So it was a beautiful transition out of that conversation. But I recognized at the time, I'm like, okay, I could be saying something else. I know like what's happening here isn't exactly aligned with how I feel. So it was a very good learning experience. And also the second conversation was more, which I found a lot this year. And I found myself feeling guilty in certain interactions where people are having a very, very hard time, and they express that to me, and then they ask how I'm doing. And I have a hard time speaking my truth in that place, because I guess it's coming from a place of like, I don't want to make you feel, I don't want to tell you that I'm doing pretty good right now, mentally or whatever it is. That's a tough one for me. That's still a tough one for me. Is somebody's just like this bleeding heart, they're like, how are you? And you're like, surviving.
No, but that is not fair to either party.
No, it's right.
To either party to compromise yourself. And then it's like, I'm going to meet you, mystery likes company, right? And sometimes even when it's it's not unsolicited, it's still, I don't know, I just feel like, no, there's ways to work, I don't even want to say around it. Staying sovereign in your energy, and knowing that, I'm doing really good, and they can see that they can get to that really good place too.
Well, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's what the lesson in this particular day was for me, was I have to shift my perspective around being fully authentic or speaking my truth, even when it's uncomfortable, because I don't want to make somebody else feel bad, or, I still find myself occasionally taking on the responsibility of someone else's emotions, and that's not my responsibility. That's nobody's responsibility. None of us are responsible for anyone else's emotions, reactions, thoughts, feelings. So by lowering my, I guess, okay, if we think of everything as a vibration, right? High vibe, lower vibe, it's not a judgment, but saying, oh, I've been really miserable and blah, 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 like all of these things are happening, my world's upside down. That may be your truth in the moment, and I completely understand. But if that's not my truth in that moment, but I kind of lower my vibration a bit to be like, oh yeah, I feel you, right? I may not be going all the way down and like really like stirring up in the muck with you, but I'm not telling you like, hey, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing all right, and help that person raise their vibration to a little mini ascension, as opposed to like staying in and reveling in and getting deeper and deeper into that misery loves company type feeling. So that was my aha, was like, okay, we're not serving anybody, not ourselves, not anyone else, when we don't speak our authentic truth. So a shift of perspective, that I am no longer responsible for anyone else's emotions or reactions. I am only responsible for my own. And I can only speak my truth from now on from the heart. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, there's the speaking of the truth where it comes off very ego driven. And it's that whole, you know, like that kind of feeling.
Yes.
But there's also a way to speak your truth from the heart. So heart, truth,
open,
speaking. And when we do that, like perhaps in that moment, I could have said to her, like, "Oh, you know, I feel for you. I've been doing pretty well. Here are the tools that have been, you know, if you're interested, I can talk with you about what's been helping me through this time." Something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But that's how we're going to serve everyone. Every interaction we have, that's how we are going to help. Because perhaps even if our truth doesn't seem to be received well in the moment, it plants a seed and it can help shake ourselves and the people we're interacting with out of that matrix, that go with the flow kind of, you know, inauthentic interaction. It can help shake them from that. And maybe it'll give them something. Maybe they're a little rattled. Maybe they have a lot of thoughts. Maybe they say, you know, maybe they have a lot of thoughts about you. It's fine. But it could be something that plants the seed to help them kind of open their eyes and wake up a bit more.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, first of all, everything you said is so valid. It's so valid. And that's such a good personal experience of like, it's the minuscule things, like having going to the mailbox and having these interactions, because we have these interactions every day, all day. And I'm pretty, one may say, we don't have these interactions every day, all day. Okay, maybe a little ballsy on my side, but we do. That's what I think. Even with your family members, you have the opportunity to, you know, bounce back if you want. If you live alone, you still have these interactions with the self. Talking yourself into things, not talking yourself into things. But one of the big things right now, when we're talking about ready for the, you know, for a huge expansion, what we're going, when you mentioned we're not entertaining certain frequency, dealing with certain things, we're not. And actually today I'm going to give everyone a, it's so interesting. I use this with my clients a lot. And I tell them like, okay, there is a little advice, I don't want to say a warning, when using this mantra, this affirmation. It's like a mantra, it's an affirmation, or for my witchy people, it's a magic spell. It works so much and you will see instantly results. I actually just saw a message from a client that said, I didn't read the whole message, but she's like, is it normal for my mood to change? And I'm thinking, did she use this spell or not? Did she do it? Because a lot of things shift. Anywho, prior to that, just want to say we've been talking about raising our vibration. We are no longer entertaining lower vibrational frequencies. The same old, where before, you know, being very in compliance with somebody who says, you know, like what Lauren went through of like, oh, you know, they're struggling. And then we just meet them where they are. We're not, that doesn't feel comfortable anymore. Maybe you know, in your own way, you may feel like, oh, I'm not putting up with crap right anymore. I'm just not putting up with crap. And it's not because you're being egotistic, of course, always checking in, but it has also a lot to do that is no longer in your best interest to be in this type of energy anymore. And that is exactly what we're walking away from at this moment. Right now, we are all going through this personal ascension and personal expansion where it's the days of being Mr. Nice Guy are over. we are over, and we're not going to be rude. We're going to be very conscious about it. And that's the key, to be conscious about this transition that we're going to, because you're feeling certain ways where like you're just not tolerating certain things, or somebody will mention something and it just rubs you the wrong way. It's because you're no longer entertaining it. What usually happens when things like this rubs you the wrong way, you try to make an excuse for it. Oh, well, maybe they weren't doing so good. Or it can go both ways. One, it could be like, oh, maybe they're going to something, that's why they were rude. So you're making excuses for them, right? Or then it's like, well, what did I do, to do it? It's just that it's no longer in alignment. You're no longer, it's like the friend that is always having I'm just going to use the friend that has the love problems, right? Relationships, and goes and cries to your shoulder and then comes back and you give her good advice. And then you're just like, oh, I need a shower after those conversations because she's just not getting it. And you're exhausted. She's not getting any benefit. You're not getting benefit. And you're both exhausted. You're not entertaining. None of us are entertaining. I had a situation happen last week, actually, with my husband. And and this is the thing, I felt it was the people who were around and saw it, thought immediate. And I thought of myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm this trying to be spiritual and I'm always doing this and doing that and trying and speaking to people. I'm still human. And I realized that I was going through my own experience at that moment where I set up I was like, I'm not tolerating this. And I talked to my guns. And I talked to myself. I was like, okay, where is this coming from? Is this coming from a conscious perspective, or is this coming from a just really ego, my turn, I'm going to stick to my guns, I do not care? And it was actually coming from a very conscious standpoint. So what happened next was that we don't have to do anything in life. What we're going through is we're setting up these boundaries within ourselves and with others. And these can be very healthy boundaries. So it's like, I no longer am a punching bag. And it doesn't have to be people directly insulting you and calling you names, but it can be delivered. You can receive it in a different way where you're no longer entertaining this vibration, this energy. And that is exactly where we are right now. We're no longer, just make a little inventory in your mind right now of like, what is happening, right? It's just like making this inventory. It's like, okay, how have I felt? What is happening right now? And what are the patterns that I'm seeing? Are they patterns that I need to step away? Are they patterns like that keeps happening? I keep feeling X, Y, Z way. Just know feeling good is the key. Feeling good is the key for everything. And the more you feel good, the more you will feel good, the more positive impact you will see in your life. However, right now, as we're going, with not being Mr. Nice Guy, a lot of people are like, and it's been the theme this past week with clients that's like, they're the givers. They're the givers, and they're just like, they caretakers, and they do things because they're the nice guys. That's what they do. And it's not in their highest benefit. It doesn't mean they're going to be jerks, but it does mean they're going to set up a little bit of boundaries. And what is the beauty when you set up boundaries? When you're like, I no longer entertain this type of conversation. I do no longer entertain this type of lower vibration, because anybody who is in that type of energy is just simply lower vibration. Once we do that, like, I no longer entertain, notice their reaction. Do they respond or do they react? And if they react and they're just like, oh my gosh, why are you talking to me like that? And it's very snappy. Are they even respecting you? Are they even respecting your decision? Not at all. And even if it hurts, because it will, and a lot of times, and it will, just is going to give you like, wow, I was holding on to this, and this is what it is. Allow things. This is a moment where things are falling away. They're going to fall off you right now. And it's going to come in all different ways, in all different ways. So I'm going to give you two things, okay? I'm actually going to give you two things. And this is for our expansion. I'm going to give you two things for expansion. One, Lauren was talking a lot about it, the throat chakra. You take a deep breath in. Deep breath out, stay here. And we're just going to bring the chin towards the chest. And as we inhale, we're going to tilt the head back, opening up the throat chakra. And just visualize the blue light at the center of the throat. And just exhale, chin to chest. And one more time, inhale, open up, tilt the head back, open up, visualize that beautiful blue light at the center of the throat, and stay here a little longer, shoulders back and down, opening up the heart center. And maybe we say to ourselves, I choose to speak my truth without fear, without judgment, with love and compassion. And then as you exhale, chin to chest. And, this is something that you can do on your own at any moment. Any moment you can just go and do that and notice this is going to begin to shift your speaking, your truth. There's a lot of creativity actually in the throat chakra. So just begin to feel into that. 2, this is a magic spell. This is the mantra or the affirmation, whatever you want to call it. Say this only intentionally. Intention behind these words will catapult you tremendously. Only if you're ready, okay? And all you're going to do, wherever you are, you're just very intentional. I only allow and work with high vibrational frequencies of love and light, of pure source energy. I only allow and work with high vibrational frequencies of love and light, pure source energy. And if you like, you can add, I no longer allow or entertain any lower vibrational frequency into my energy field. I no longer allow any low vibrational frequency into my energy field. You can do the same with the high vibration. I only allow high vibrational frequency into my energy field. You will find what works with you. But if you say those words, expect change, expect shift, because it will happen. I've seen it over and over and over and over again in all my clients. So just say that when you feel ready. And just notice that if you're like very intentional, you're done with the lower vibration, state these words and notice what shifts in your life. I've seen pretty radical shifts in my clients' lives, pretty darn radical. So things will fall away. So it may get really uncomfortable for you, but just know that it is all for your highest good. Okay. And just allow yourself to work. As you work with the energy, you flow through the energy. Just allow yourself, giving yourself that opportunity. So, Lauren, okay, so little disclosure, do the thing, and then leave us a message. Let us know how you did. This is something that I pretty much do every day, and it feels really good. Okay, Lauren, take us to the major domino effect.
Okay. I mean, very similar to what you were just talking about with like expect shift. I love that.
Holy shift.
Holy shift. So as you get more comfortable with speaking your truth, not getting into the inauthentic conversations because maybe you're feeling like I can no longer tolerate this. And you'll know. I do want to bring that up really quickly because even just thinking back on the 2 interactions I had, I felt like on the inside, if I could, that was a good face. If I could like sum up how I felt on the inside, I felt like it was just this, I felt uncomfortable. And that is a huge signal my body was sending me that was like, this conversation is serving you. So recognize your signals that your body's going to send you, that your guides are going to send you. And that will be a really good way for you to start to figure out and bring awareness to those interactions that are no longer serving you. So that being said, bring in the awareness. And then when you decide like, nope, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I got to speak my truth. I got to speak it from the heart. You are going to start to call back your power. You're going to call back those pieces of yourself that fragmented off back in childhood when you weren't allowed to speak your truth. And you kind of just started to fractal off your soul, right? And I know that's another conversation for another time. But think of it, if that's like what to you, think of it as you gave your power away. Okay? We all gave our power away in those moments as kids, young adults, etc. When we said yes, when we meant no, when we agreed and went along with something and we didn't want to. when, whatever the situation may be, right? So as we now, at this stage in our lives, in this now moment, as we decide, you know what, no, my pattern is to do ABC, but I'm going to do XYZ. Whoop, you're calling that power back to you. So the domino effect is not only with yourself, bringing yourself back into your power, but I kind of already mentioned it, so I won't go into detail too much. The domino effect of the seeds and the power that you're also handing over to the person you're interacting with, or the energy you're interacting with. And again, it may be a slow process. It might not be this instant, oh my God, you're so right. I'm so whatever. You might not get that instant gratification from the interaction when you do step into your truth. However, the domino effect of you feeling more and more empowered and it getting easier and easier to speak your truth with every interaction that you stand up for yourself. And the domino effect of that person going home and that seed being planted, and it will sprout when it is ready. In that person. That's not your responsibility. You don't have to follow up. You don't have to follow that person on their journey, but you've done your job by being true to you in that moment.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that. You said it, you nailed it. You nailed it all. When we begin to shift, let me just say, because Michael Bernard Beckwith just came into mind. I heard him say the other day that you cannot change your outside world as you stay the same, right? So when we begin to shift, our outside world, our exterior begins to shift also. And if you're tired, of seeing the exterior you're being seen, begin the shift. It's completely up to you. You're always in full control. And as we go through our changes, our shifts, our transformation, transcending through this timeline right now, you will notice that you do have an impact on everything out there and everyone, especially when it comes, you'll see it first and foremost with your family, with family members, it will show. And the more we do, and you're going to see a shift collectively, regardless, before the end of 2020, which it literally just goes zoop right into 2021. But we are in this role right now. We are in this shift. And it's so interesting because as I hear domino effect, I feel like snowball. So it's just going to we're ascending and there's no way back. You can either kick and scream or not do it. I'm going to leave it at that because Lauren nailed it. So yay, Lauren. Let us know if you have any questions, if there's anything else. If you felt any of this resonated, please give us a thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We chat every week, and we'll love to see you here. If you're on the Facebook group, please also give us a little thumbs up and share us also. We love that. But I think we are at a good stopping point with everything, just high vibrational. When you use the mantra, the affirmation, the spell, do it from the heart, very intentional, very loving for yourself. Okay, because if you're just exhausted and 2020 has shown you anything, is that we're ready for shift. We're just ready for the shift. Okay. Okay, so I am going to pull a card. I actually have 2 decks today, and I'm really feeling this one. So I'm pull a card, and then Lauren is gonna read it. So today I am using the activations. It's all about a sacred geometry. So it's the sacred geometry, our activations oracle guide, and I love it. I love sacred geometry. You can see the shift in just anywhere in the world, just outside. Anywho, I'm gonna tap in. See what is the message we need to hear right now. Ooh, this one strongly. Aww. Heart chakra. And it says the frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, right at the center of the heart, in between the breasts. Supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. So, Lauren, what do you get? Oops.
I think it's so funny. The last few card pulls we've had, it just it correlates so beautifully with what we've been talking about. So I have to just reiterating, it's what we're focusing on is this heart-centered truth. Speaking your truth from your heart center, planning with really opening the heart center. You don't owe anybody an instant answer or an instant response. You can take a moment and go within and feel that heart center open up, take a deep breath, really get focused and centered with your response. You can take your time. That is okay. There is no rush. And if that helps you to slow yourself down, I know it does for me, and it's what I'm working on, is to slow myself down and think, okay, like let it out.
Absolutely. Oh, I love, yes. So heart chakra, tap into your portal of your heart, especially during these times. Okay, center, staying grounded is key. We have that full moon on Monday and it's in Gemini. If you're a Gemini, you're fucking feeling this. There's no way around it. It's just happening. I just realized, I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, is Kaden there? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I rarely cuss on these and they just felt so right. And then Lauren's little one is there. Okay, speaking of radical truth. So you're feeling it, but we have I don't know if any of you have been checking it out, but we have lunar eclipse. So lunar eclipses are a little bit more harsh, you can say, and they can be a lot of shifting energy in a harsher direction. Can be a lot of energy where, and again, it comes with a no longer tolerating that is really showing you of where you need to be. So in order to know what we really want, we need to know what we don't want, right? So this lunar eclipse actually is bringing out a lot of uncomfortable feelings and is bringing out a little bit more anxiety and anger in a way or two. So if you've been noticing any of that, it's a perfect time to release. Give yourself some grace, some compassion, and ground. Do a meditation, breathing exercises, listen to some music that you like, go walk barefoot, be outside. Being in nature is very, very key right at this moment. If you're like, it's freaking snowing outside, D, I don't want to go outside. Be by the window and just visualize yourself being outside and allow your energy body to be outside while your human body stays cozy indoors. It can be possible. Yeah, absolutely. So that is coming to our closing high vibes, but we want to share with you a couple of things that we have going on. So Lauren, tell us all about what you have been going on this Sunday.
Sunday, I'm teaching virtually Yin and Reiki in the morning, Hawaii time, 10 to 11:15. That's 12 to 1:15 PST. And then I also in the evening have the Yoga Nidra Sanctuary from 5:30 to 6:40. 6:45 my time, which is 7:30 to 8:30, 8:45 PST. So if you'd like to join me for a live class and see what all the hype is about Yoga Nidra and Yin, and just to help you slow down and get in a good space, good mental, physical, soul space.
Yay! And I will add I will add the links into this video. If anybody, and I love Yoga Nidra so much, so definitely will be there this week. And I am booking. I have very limited opening. I'm actually not working. I'm taking some time off because I have a friend coming into town. So for the week of the 6th, yes. So I'm just doing the 2nd to the 5th. It's the following week after that. Anywho, I don't have. And I just realized then we have another high by chat. Okay, scratch that. I am taking in clients from the 2nd to the 5th this coming week. I have very limited availability. But if you are curious to know what 2021, what to expect in 2021, if you have some questions about 2021, just DM me. We can do a Q&A with your guides and really allowing yourself to get a little bit more of an insight of where you are now and how that will begin, if you want to do the beginning of the year, a little bit towards the end of the year. But if you just want some insight on 2021 and how that's going to look in your human experience, send me a DM. We can do, just a Q&A with your guides and an energy reading. So that's next week. I think I have pretty open Thursday and Friday. And I have just, I believe, one opening on Wednesday, but Monday and Tuesday, especially due to the full moon and everything, I'm pretty booked. Everybody wants to know what's happening in 2021 and how it's going to. It's not necessarily like I'm reading the future, but I'm reading your energy, and the energy you have now will make an impact as you roll into this beautiful 2021 and your ascension. So yay! Well, thank you everyone so much. Anything else, Lauren? Anything you want to share?
I think just, when you go into prayer or you go into your meditation, if you don't practice it already, consider just sending out whatever you can to the collective. And I know what's been resonating with me lately is just sending out that we're holding space for the highest timeline.
For all of absolutely. Us.
And I think pretty important right now is just calling in, okay, we're holding space for the highest timeline, whatever that looks like. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think it's important that we all really start to hold onto that frequency as consistently as possible. So if you do a daily prayer or meditation, or you want to start.
Yes. Beautiful. 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 Well, thank you so very much. Please let us know how we can continue to support your happiness. Hopefully after watching this video, you feel more high vibe than before. That is our ultimate goal. And we love you all so much. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.